Okay, so get this. We're diving into Dogecoin today. You guys have sent over a bunch of articles on this. And I'm honestly more than a little curious.
Yeah.
It started as like a joke back in 2013, and now it's worth billions.
Really?
You heard me right? Billions with a B. It's incredible how a digital coin with that Shiba Inu dog, from the Doge meme, blew up in like the world of finance. What's the deal with that?
It is pretty wild, Vic.
Mm-hmm.
To really wrap our heads around Dogecoin, I think we need to look at the bigger picture of cryptocurrency at its core. Cryptocurrency uses cryptography to secure transactions, and it operates without a central bank controlling everything. Take Bitcoin, for example. It was the first cryptocurrency, and it's designed to be limited to 21 million coins total. So this scarcity, this limited supply, is a big reason why it holds value. Dogecoin, on the other hand, Dogecoin has an unlimited supply, so new coins are always popping up.
And that's where the whole like speculative bubble idea comes in, right? Like some of the articles you sent over mentioned Dogecoin's value seems to be more about hype and speculation than anything concrete.
Exactly. It's fascinating how much of its value is tied to market sentiment, and not necessarily to any underlying use or inherent value. For instance, if you bought, say, 10,000 Dogecoins a year ago, when the hype was through the roof, inflation alone might mean that your investment is worth significantly less today, especially compared to a hypothetical coin with a fixed supply.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's fascinating how Dogecoin reached this level of popularity. What factors beyond the obvious celebrity buzz contributed to its rise?
Well, one thing that I think often gets overlooked is the power of the Dogecoin community. They're incredibly active, and they're very passionate online, which creates this sense of shared enthusiasm and, let's be honest, a bit of FOMO.
Oh, yes. FOMO. The fear of missing out.
Precisely. When people see others making money, especially within a community that they feel connected to, they're more likely to jump in themselves. It's like this self-perpetuating cycle. The community buzz creates hype, which attracts new investors. And the cycle continues. Now, of course, we can't talk about Dogecoin hype without mentioning the elephant in the room. Or should I say the Shiba Inu in the Twitterverse.
You're talking about Elon Musk, right? Every time he tweets about Dogecoin, it's like watching fireworks on the stock market.
The Musk effect is hard to ignore. He's called Dogecoin a hustle. Yet his words carry so much weight, even in the often unpredictable world of cryptocurrency. And let's not forget Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, yeah.
Who has publicly expressed interest in Dogecoin. That kind of celebrity endorsement can really send ripples through the market.
It makes sense, though, right? You see someone like famous and successful talking about an investment, and it makes you want to like learn more, maybe even get in on the action yourself.
Absolutely. It taps into our inherent desire to be part of something big, to feel like we're in the know. But this is where it gets a little tricky, especially for those who are new to investing. They might see these headlines and think, well, if it's good enough for Elon Musk, it's good enough for me, without fully understanding the risks involved.
And we have to be real here. Plenty of the articles you sent highlight the risky nature of Dogecoin. One even went as far as to say, and I quote, "Don't invest money that you can't afford to lose." So, should people even consider Dogecoin a viable investment?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And unfortunately, there's no easy answer. Remember how we talked about Dogecoin being a speculative bubble? That volatility, that potential for dramatic price swings makes it a much riskier investment compared to, say, established stocks or bonds.
So what you're saying is Dogecoin is less of a sure thing and more of a gamble.
In a way, yes. But your research also brought up an interesting perspective from Mark Cuban. He said that while Dogecoin might not be the most sound investment, it's still a better bet than a lottery ticket.
Okay, now that's an interesting take. He's acknowledging the risk, but also suggesting there's a chance, however slim, of seeing a return. It's like he's saying, hey, it's a long shot, but it's not impossible. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like the difference between betting on like a long shot horse race versus just scratching off a random lottery ticket. Both are gambles, but one might have slightly better odds based on, well, something.
That's a great analogy. Cuban's point is that every investment carries some level of risk. The difference is that with Dogecoin, that risk is amplified because its value is so closely tied to market sentiment and speculation. The challenge, and this goes for any investment really, is to weigh that risk against the potential reward and decide what makes sense for you as an individual investor.
So for our listeners who send in all these Dogecoin articles, what's the takeaway here? Should they be rushing out to buy a bunch of Doge?
Well, we're definitely not qualified to give financial advice.
Yeah.
And frankly, anyone who promises you guaranteed returns in the world of cryptocurrency. It's probably selling something.
Yeah, exactly. There was just two people with a microphone. Geeking out over like, oh, the fascinating world of Dogecoin and the wild ride it's been on.
Right. The best advice we can offer,
Mm.
which you highlighted in your research, is to always do your own thorough research. Don't just take Elon Musk's word for it, or even ours for that matter. Dive into the details, understand the risks, and never invest more than you can comfortably afford to lose.
You mentioned earlier that people new to this world might see platforms like Crypto.com and Binance mentioned and think they're endorsements. What's important for our listeners to remember about those platforms?
Platforms like those are simply tools, a way to access the cryptocurrency market. They're not inherently good or bad, but they're not a guarantee of success either. Think of them as on-ramps to a very complex highway. Before you even get in the car, you need to know where you're going, how to navigate the roads, and the potential dangers you might encounter along the way.
Solid advice. And maybe a good reminder that investing, whether in Dogecoin or anything else, should be approached with a healthy dose of caution and a whole lot of research.
Absolutely. And on that note, I'll leave you with this thought. If Dogecoin, a cryptocurrency that started as a lighthearted meme, can grab global attention and reach the heights it has, what does that say about the future of value and how we invest in this increasingly digital age?
Whoa, now that's a question to ponder. And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into Dogecoin. Until next time, stay curious.